Legos? Nick's talking about building Legos.
Wilds asked me what I did, but they're professional Legos.
All of the Pacers build Legos as well.
Yeah, Miles Turner.
What's interesting, and this is the God's honest truth.
Okay.
The last time I played with Legos was when I lived in Indianapolis. I think I was like a third or fourth grader.
Legos are back.
The originals.
Yeah, those are the originals. They barely
With some Lincoln Logs maybe mixed in, Drew? There you go.
We're starting with Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Wolves, they were 7.5-point underdogs, but I think the line moved because I tweeted something, and the Sharps in Vegas moved the line. Now 7-point underdogs in Oklahoma City. This is a matchup between the two top scorers in the league. Here's how their numbers matched up for their playoff career. This is just SGA with the Thunder. Pretty equal here. Would winning this series mean more for
incredibly
Ant
equal
or SGA? Yeah, that's a Josh special. He didn't cook the numbers at all, but he recognized it.
I think comparing these two players is great. You know, they're both young, hotshot superstars. But I think the answer to this question in particular is easy. It's SGA. No question about it. One, he's about to be named the MVP.
Mm-hmm. If they ever get around to it.
Right. Whenever that'll happen, he's going to win it. That in and of itself puts pressure on you, expectations on you to keep advancing. And so there's that. Secondly, your team won 68 games, most in the league. You were the number 1 seed all year long, and you're playing a 6 seed. Let's not forget, Minnesota is a 6 seed. I get it. This is a year where you've only got one seed that's in the top 2 of each conference left, but still they were a 6 seed. And SGA, even though he's still young, he's 26, which is young, but he's in his 7th year. Ant is 23.
23.
Right? If he loses this, he's really playing with house money. Even though some people think they can win this series and should win this series or whatever, he is playing with house money because of his age at 23. Shai is to that point where it's like, all right, start winning rings now. You're about to win an MVP and that sort of thing. Now, I'll say this quickly, Nick, before you go. Even though I think it's clearly SGA who would benefit more, I think from a league standpoint, it would be better if Ant and the
100%.
Timberwolves, right? He's just more of an exciting, spectacular player. He's more charismatic and thus marketable.
And he has more fans.
Yeah, and a player with his charisma and style of play will draw in the casual fans. Yeah. Shai, as great as he is not going to draw in casual fans. I'm going to make a comparison. I think you two will agree. This is like Shaq versus Duncan at the guard position. Like, Shaq is Ant. Charismatic, fun-loving, marketable.
A more exciting
more exciting style of play. And Shai is Tim Duncan, where he's awesome. There's no doubt about it. And they win, but
he's got
kind of a blah.
A blah?
He's not. And I will admit, I don't think he's as blah as Duncan.
No, I agree.
His game or his personality. But I do think it's kind of. I think it's. You don't think it's a? I'm not saying it's exactly like Duncan. That commercial.
I totally agree with you, Drew. I also listen. We're gonna. I don't think SGA has. Wilds and I got in one of the dumbest arguments ever the other day, which was we were arguing about nationwide popularity of Rafael Devers versus Bobby Witt.
That was stupid.
And it lasted for multiple days, and it was one of the reasons Wilds was mad at me a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
And in that, I said, if you remove their home markets, who has more fans, in Seattle or in Miami or wherever, in that same hypothesis here, to Brew's point, if you remove Minneapolis and you remove Oklahoma City, Ant is exponentially more popular but by neutral fans than Shai. And so I don't think Shai has captured the imagination even as he's about to capture MVP. The argument for Shai is this would be, if they make the finals, and certainly if they win the championship, an all-time guard season. I think this will surprise people. Here's the full list of guards in NBA history to win a league MVP and make the finals in the same season. It's those 6. And by the way, Kobe and Iverson didn't win the championship the year they won league MVP. So the only guys to ever, as a guard, win league MVP and win a championship the same year. Who you're looking? Steph did it.
MVP. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Steph's on.
Oh, I thought you said they didn't.
No. Kobe and Iverson did.
Okay.
Because Kobe's MVP came a year they made the finals but lost to the Big Three Celtics. But those are icons. You know, I mean, Bob Cousy's, 100 years ago, but it was an icon. And then you have truly iconic players. And Shai's team, by the way, won more games than any team on that regular season list except for Jordan's. And so it would be
a wild list.
It's a wild list. It also speaks to the fact guards haven't won a lot of MVPs. Like the only Oscar
they didn't used to really win them.
It was all centers, recently. and as of late, it's been all wings essentially.
And I think too, Shai's, just quickly to your point, I think that's just telling about where the league is headed.
Yes.
I get it that Jokic and Giannis are the 2 best players in the league, probably, but after that, it's a bunch of guards. So I think this is going to happen more and more.
But with all that said, my answer actually is Ant. Wow. Because he will have beaten everyone that matters in his conference. He will have gone through Durant, Booker, Joker, Murray, Luka, LeBron. Steph is kind of unfair, but it's on the list.
Really, Steph. I would say not.
No,
Steph.
But I mean, it's they played the Warriors and knocked them out. It doesn't diminish it. It's just that's kind of a weird one. Fine. And then it would be the MVP. Also, the 23-year-old thing matters in this. Like, if we look at kind of the standard bearers of the league who have made the finals, how old were they when they made the finals? LeBron's the only one who would have been younger. Like everyone else, Durant did it with the baby Thunder.
Players,
You're right, of current players. That's what I'm talking about. Of the guys playing right now. Now, Shai is kind of right when around the age these guys have done it. Ant's 23. If we take it, go ahead, bro.
No, I was going to say you could throw Westbrook and Harden, but they weren't the number one.
Right, they weren't correct. And you also, Kawhi is a weird one, too, because he made his first finals, but he was, he wasn't even one of their 3 best players in the first finals. So then, to that point, guys in the last 20 years who are under 25, their team's leading scorer, de facto best player, and made the finals. Like Devin Booker, to me, is a kind of a asterisk on it because I thought Chris Paul was the best player on that team, but regardless, that's the list that Anthony Edwards would be joining, and I think he would take the mantle if they make the finals, and maybe you guys will disagree, of the under 30 crowd. I'm the man. Tatum has an argument for it, but the Achilles throws it. Sadly, it's not his fault, but it throws it. Shai's argument is this season the MVP.
So you think it would mean he's better than Shai?
I think he would have it. Luka, to me, is the best of all those players under 30. He just beat Luka. If he then just beat Shai, he's younger than all of them. Back-to-back deep playoff runs. We don't look at it like he has a like the Timberwolves are a really good team, but we don't look at it like, oh, he has a stacked team. And so I think the face of the league stuff that he has wanted to keep at arm's length, it wouldn't matter. Like, it would be thrust upon him. So that's where I think he has the most to gain.
I do think he'd be the face of the league. I don't think people would necessarily view him as the best player in the league. I don't think you can say he's better than Shai unless, he just destroys him in this series or really clearly outplays him. But he would become the face of the league should they get to the finals, maybe even if they win it. I don't know that you can say he's the best of the 30 and under because Tatum just did it. Or Jaylen Brown was the finals MVP. But I think he'd be the face because of all the guys, including Jokic, he is the most charismatic. He's the most marketable. The league is looking for somebody to take the torch.
I know it's when I have no Wemby. But Wemby's the most marketable, and Wemby's the most charismatic.
When he gets back on the court, and I love Wemby. I'm just saying, right now we can't.
I think Wemby's interesting because of the chess and because of
we don't know enough.
I think Wemby's. Yeah. I think Wemby's the face of the league.
He may be, but you don't think Ant is going to be just even if it's for this summer, if they win the championship?
Yeah, for the summer, sure. But then when Steph is back on the court,
I don't think it's going. I think the league. I think people not just the league, are looking for, like, who's that next guy? The torch is being passed.
The fact that we have to, he says he doesn't want to be it. So if he doesn't want to, and we know
he doesn't want people in his personal business.
Well,
he carries himself otherwise like he wants.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Commercials,
I agree with,
movies.
Doing the lap around Staples is not someone that doesn't want the attention.
He wants the attention, but I just feel like we're just flippantly taking the face of the league away from Steph and LeBron, where those guys are on 24/7, 365, and Ant's like, I don't want it. It's like, you are.
No, I agree with that.
They're going to be faces of the league
until they retire. I think it would be heir apparent. Let's put it like that. The heir apparent to that, because it is going to be LeBron's and to a lesser extent Steph as long as they're playing. Yeah. But nobody has seized I'm clearly next up. The way, if people want to argue that like it was Shaq, Kobe, or what, it became very clear during Shaq and Kobe's career, it's LeBron's at some point. Don't know when, I don't want to argue about Kobe versus LeBron in that context, but that he was taking it next.
Yeah, when he was on cover of Sports Illustrated when he was 15.
Well, to your point, I don't see a player right now, including Anthony Edwards, who's going to become a LeBron or a Steph.
No, that's what I mean.
And dominate. There's not one. That could be Wemby. But as much as I like Anthony Edwards, I don't think he's going to be ever
a top 10 all-time players. I agree.
That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Then call it like an interim title. The point that I'm like, if we look at the guys in the league under 30 years old, and you have Booker, who was on that list, Wemby, who you mentioned, Halliburton, who's still playing, Jalen Brunson, Jason Tatum, Luka, and Shai. Tatum is in a weird spot because of the Achilles and because he's going to be out for the year.
Yeah.
Luka's in a weird spot because they had a disappointing playoffs, and he has an odd, almost air of skepticism surrounding him for the first time in his career.
He's also got LeBron,
and he's got
he's a better player at this point.
And so then if he goes through Shai, when I think most of us feel like that the teams absent their stars, it's not like the Timberwolves are this better roster than the Thunder. Right. I think he can supersede him. Again, of course it matters how it's played.
Not more pressure,
I think there's more pressure on Shai, but I think it would mean more for Ant. I agree with you. There's definitively Ant's on a reputational free roll.
Yeah.
He has once again outplayed his seed. They kind of surprised people by making it here. He's a back-to-back conference finalist. There's definitely more pressure on Shai, but I think it kind of have more of a power thruster for Ant if he were to make it.
All right, we'll zoom out a little bit. The series odds favor the Thunder by a healthy margin here. We're minus 330 to plus 265 for the Wolves. Regular season tied 2-2, but it's hard to glean a lot of info because, get this from NBA.com, the Wolves starting 5 only played 12 minutes against the Thunder, so it's tough to figure out. Are you surprised OKC are heavy favorites?
I am surprised. I mean, that's fine. They should be the favorite, I would guess, even though I may not pick them. In fact, I'm picking Minnesota. I'm picking Minnesota in this.
We're a big thing.
Yeah, but I think I'm fine with OKC being favored. All right, but to be favored so heavily, coming off a series in which they barely beat a Denver team that its third best scorer was playing with one shoulder.
Yeah.
All right, and they were heavily favored in that series. Denver didn't have the type of defense that Minnesota has.
True.
So I think that was an issue with them. Minnesota's been more impressive. You can talk about Steph's out, and obviously that was a huge difference. But 2 5-game series, for them to dominate the Lakers the way they did, and the Lakers, I get it was regular season, but the way they played against the OKC late in the year they were a tough matchup for them. Not so for Minnesota. And then in the regular season, it was 2-2, as you said. But DiVincenzo, Rudy Gobert, and Julius Randle didn't play in the last 3 games. And still, Minnesota won 2 of those 3. And so I think they can just throw a lot. That gives them an idea that even not playing big with Gobert, we got something for him. And then our second best player, Randall, wasn't even there. Randall, when Randall's not there, you can double and all you want. Now he's there, so that's going to be different. So I just think there are a lot of reasons to like Minnesota.
Man, I hope you're right, Brew, because I have a confession here.
Okay.
I'm picking the Thunder.
Oh, wow.
No, that's not. I picked the Thunder once the moment the Lakers got knocked out. I said I think the Thunder are going to win the championship. They've been my pick since then. I'm picking them in this series. I think they're the best team, and I hope I'm wrong.
Why?
Because the confession is, and I know that you know the hipster NBA fans are going to tell me this is why I'm not a real fan. Don't care. I don't really like watching them. I'm not as agog at what is objectively their swarming great defense as I know I'm supposed to be. I am not as hypnotized by Shai's amazing footwork in the mid-range as I know, if I really loved the game, I would be, as I'm told. I'm just not. I want to see Anthony Edwards dunk on these guys. I want to see Julius Randle dip his shoulder into Chet Holmgren's chest and us to worry if they need to stop the game for a bit.
Okay.
I would like to see Minnesota. I think they play a brand of basketball that I enjoy more, and they have a personality that I enjoy more. When people are talking about whether it's Wendy or whomever being like, yeah, other teams think the Thunder are corny. I'm not one of the teams. I am one of the people that think they're corny. And I don't want them to win. I think they're going to.
He doesn't like corny people. He didn't like Russell Wilson because he thinks he's corny.
Listen, I'm just telling you, and I'll get flamed for this, don't care. I think they're the best team. If you guys remember, dating back to when I saw them in person against the Lakers day after Thanksgiving, I said, they put in 5 bench guys. It looked like the best defense in basketball.
Yeah.
Like, I have been impressed by them all year. I've not enjoyed it. So I'm not surprised they're such heavy favorites. I think they're much better than Minnesota. I hope Brew ends up being right. I hope Brew is dusting his shoulders the whole series.
I seriously doubt that.
Because I'm not betting it. So it's just what, Caleb?
I think you're saying
challenging
it
for the viewer. What are we going to do now?
Look,
What do you mean? I'm picking
I understand
Oklahoma.
where you're saying. I like watching OKC. I think I like watching them more than you because it is. The basketball is great, and I like the mid-range.
Oh, yeah.
But it's interesting because they've been here before, and I don't want to say they got 3 stars because Jalen Williams and Chet aren't really stars, but that's kind of their big 3. When they had Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, it was so different. Like, those 3 players were so electric and exciting and fun to watch and everything. And this group, which maybe will win the championship, I'm not saying Minnesota's the definitive team that should win. I get it that OKC should be favored. I'm just saying I think Minnesota will beat them. But they're just not, it's not even close.
It doesn't grab me.
To excite, as exciting
being honest.
as
And you know what? I
be.
didn't know. I thought I felt this way. You know how I knew I felt this way? When despite picking Oklahoma City and actually in the Thunder series betting Oklahoma City, and it's not like I'm a long-known Nuggets fan. I found myself rooting like hell for Denver. And I was like, I guess I just don't want this team to win, even though I picked them. So I'll take the arrows for it. I owe the audience honesty. That's it. I think Oklahoma City's the best team. I think they'll beat everybody. I hope they lose this round. I'm just telling you.
Let's head to the NFL, where we are pushing towards a resolution on the Tush Push. Packers leading the charge to push the play out of the game, saying the only legal way to assist a runner is by individually blocking opponents for him. That's their proposal. Is it fair to the Eagles if this gets banned?
No, it's not fair. It is not fair because all 32 teams have the option of doing it. They don't. Some others try, but no one can do it like the Eagles. So it's not, I was saying if it's a safety issue, which it looks like, but apparently it really isn't. Guys don't get hurt during it. Then why stop it? I say unless it's a safety issue, Nick has brought up a good point. I think unrealistic, but a point of if they just kept doing the tush push.
If they could do it on
second
first
and
down,
6, and they decide to do it to get it 3rd and 1, something like that, you want to take it out. But that's not happening. So this is what I throw at you, Nick, with that caveat. How about, because we do it with timeouts, we do it with challenges and all that.
That's interesting.
What about a limit to how many times you get 3 tush pushes a game? And
that removes the Brew, I didn't expect you to say that. I would accept that. I would prefer, because here is the intriguing thing the Packers did with the new proposal. They just said, hey guys, let's just make the rules they were until 2005. They just want to, because what people need to understand is some of our favorite highlight runs of the last decade would be outlawed under this. The runs where the regular guy is upfield, kind of keeps his legs going, but gets run into, or not run into, somebody tries to stop him, and then you see a big old offensive guard come behind him and push him. That would be against the rules. Yep. They are saying pushing it, and which was against the rules until 2005. Pushing or pulling runners. It was famous because of the Reggie Bush play in college football when they did it, and it was still against the rules there. And so
I don't hate taking away pushing them.
Well, that's,
maybe you just, I mean.
Well, that's what the whole thing is.
But you said, I mean, set it up.
That's what the whole thing is. My argument has never been about safety, and it's never been about the Eagles. It's always been about, you say people are worried about it's a safety risk. I think it's a television risk. I think it's bad. I think it's bad TV. I don't think it looks like the NFL. I think it looks like rugby. And as far as fairness goes, to kind of misquote Dom Draper, that's what the money's for, Philadelphia. The league is not built to make sure it is fair to the exact team you've built. That's not what it is. The league is an entertainment industry. And this is not, the reason Roger Goodell hates it is not because Roger Goodell does not like the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's not because he thinks it's a safety risk. He thinks it's bad TV. And they have changed the rules repeatedly the last 20 years. To make it a better television product, to make it more offense, more passing, more TV friendly. It's a bad TV product.
When it was 4th and 1, Buffalo, Kansas City, we all knew the tush push was coming. Was that bad TV? That was dramatic.
Well, the result was glorious, but
but that was exciting.
But I guess my point is it would have been even more exciting if they ran a real football play there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.